What's up guys, my name is Conrad and I'm here today to give you a guitar tutorial for the song Anchor by Novo Amor. Now this is somewhat by popular demand. I uploaded a cover of this song a couple years back on this channel, and I had a bunch of people in the comments asking for tabs or asking for a tutorial of the song. And now finally, because of everything that's going on with COVID-19, I'm stuck inside most of the day anyway, and I finally got around to doing both a tutorial and making tabs. So I will link, first of all, that cover that I did in the description, and also a link to the sheet of tabs in case you want to follow along with those. They'll correspond to what I'm going to explain in this video. Okay, so just a couple notes before I get going with the tutorial proper here. The first is that this is my version of the song. It's not, I can tell you for a fact, it's not the way that he actually plays it. Back when I was learning the song, there were no good live performances on YouTube that I could refer to, and I couldn't seem to find any tabs that allowed me to replicate the song the way that I heard it. So instead, I just listened to the song by ear, slowed it down however I needed to, and came up with my own version of the song. So if you watch this tutorial, what you're going to learn is not the official version, but I think it's simultaneously pretty easy to play and also pretty true to the original. So if you're okay with not 100% authenticity, then by all means, press on. Okay? The second of which is this is going to be a pretty basic tutorial. I'm not a video editing wizard or anything. I can't put graphics on the screen. I don't have multiple cameras. So I'm just going to tilt my camera down and try and give you guys a good view of what I'm doing. So I hope that's okay with you and is still helpful. But I guess that's it. Without further ado, let's get into the actual tutorial. Okay guys, so to get into the song here, I think the logical place to start is the tuning. So I'm going to be playing this song in open D tuning. For those of you who aren't familiar with that, that means that when I play all of my strings open without putting any fingers on the frets, I get a nice D chord like this. Okay, so this tuning, being in the key of D, actually matches the original song. The original song by Novo Amor is played in the key of D. It actually doesn't match my cover of the song. For that cover, I actually dropped all of my strings by a half step. So instead of open D, I was playing in open C sharp. That was just to accommodate my vocal range. So you guys can feel free to capo or drop your tuning however you need to do that. But I'm just going to show you this without a capo in open D. So open D tuning means that from the top string, the sixth string, to the bottom, we have D, A, D, F sharp, A, and D at the top. Okay, so now that we have our tuning, I think the second most important part of the song, or the logical next step, is the picking pattern that's going to be followed throughout. So that's basically a modified Travis picking pattern, if anybody's familiar with that. Basically what I mean is that it consists of an alternating thumb on the bottom two strings like this. And then the index finger and ring finger are going to alternate on the offbeats on two higher strings like this. So we have now, if you're new to fingerpicking, I just recommend practicing this for a little while. Just practicing this with no need to fret any strings or anything. Just and then you can gradually get faster. So get as fast as you want. It's just really good to get a handle on that, and then you don't need to think about what your fingers are doing when you're playing the rest of the song and when you're singing. Another note about fingerpicking that I find helpful is I actually ground my hand with my pinky finger braced against the body of the guitar. I find that that gives me a good sense of where my fingers are at all times and makes for more consistent playing. I've seen some guitarists do this and some don't, so I'm not sure if it's technically a correct technique, but it's something that I find helpful. So, if you're new to fingerpicking, try it out, see if you like it. Second tip about finger picking, very simple, is just fingernail length. So I like to keep the fingernails on my left hand, the one that I'm playing on the fretboard with, very short, and that allows me to prevent buzzing and easily slide between notes. Whereas on my right hand, I like to keep my fingernails maybe a couple millimeters long, and that allows me to almost have mini picks on the end of my fingers and allows me to get a clearer sound on the notes when I'm fingerpicking. So with all that being said, let's move on to the introduction of Anchor, which is actually the same pattern as the verse, and also there's a post-chorus interlude that also follows the same chord progression. So you end up learning this part, and you basically have already learned half the song, which is great. So for our first chord, we have our index finger on the 6th string, 7th fret, our middle finger on the 5th string, 7th fret, and our ring finger on the 3rd string, 7th fret, for a chord that sounds like this. Really nice, ethereal sounding chord, although we'll only be hitting some of those notes. So put this chord together with our picking pattern. We're going to be alternating the thumb between the 6th and 5th strings like this. And then we're adding in our index and middle finger alternating between the 3rd and 2nd strings at the top, and it's going to sound like this. So for the second chord, we do the same thing with our picking fingers, but we just remove the index and middle finger from the 6th and 5th strings. So for our third chord, we are moving down to the 2nd fret, and we're making the same chord shape that we made for the first chord on the 7th fret. So that means on the 2nd fret we have index on the 6th string, middle on the 5th string, and ring on the 3rd string. Now there's two ways we can get to that third chord from our second chord here. The first way is the easiest, and that's just quickly shifting our fingers, something like... But that doesn't sound super good, and also you'll notice in the song he does a nice slide between those two chords. Specifically, we have this note going down to that note, okay? And we can recreate that with the fingerpicking pattern still going. And that sounds something like this. So the timing for that is that you hit your second pluck of the 3rd string, so that by that I mean 1, 2, and then you hit that 5th string with your thumb, and you can begin your slide, okay? And while you're doing your slide, you can actually catch the 2nd string with your middle finger, just like you're continuing the picking pattern as normal, and then that allows you to do your slide without breaking your picking pattern. So again, at full speed, it sounds something like this. So we play this chord on the 2nd fret for 2 counts. And then we're going to slide up the neck twice, taking off all our fingers except for that middle finger on the 5th string 2nd fret. So the first slide is from 5th string 2nd up to 5th string 4th fret. And we're going to break our picking pattern a little bit here. We're not alternating our thumb anymore. We're just going to play that 5th string twice. So it sounds like this. So that's 5, 3, 5, 2. Then we're going to slide up the neck again from the 4th fret up to the 7th fret of the 5th string. And adding our ring finger onto the 3rd string 7th fret once we get up there. So it's going to sound like this. So that's 5-3, 5-2. And then to finish off the intro, we are playing our open D chord and just with our bass picking pattern. So we have 4 counts of so that's 6-3, 5-2, 6-3, 5-2 again. So altogether that sounds something like this at full speed. All right. So next, let's go over the chorus. It's pretty simple, just 3 chords, and all with our same basic picking pattern with the 6th, 5th, 3rd, and 2nd strings. So our first chord, we're going to put the middle finger on the 6th string 4th fret, ring finger 5th string 4th fret, and index finger on the 3rd string 3rd fret. So we have a chord that sounds like this. Okay, and we're gonna use our same picking pattern to alternate with the thumb between the 6th and 5th strings and the index and middle between the 3rd and 2nd strings. So we're gonna play this 2 counts, and then we are moving up to our first chord of the intro. So that 7th fret chord where we have fingers on 6th string 7th fret, 5th string 7th fret, and 3rd string 7th fret. And then to finish off our chorus, we just go open again for 8 counts. So we have so the chorus at full speed is going to sound like, and I hear your ship is coming in. Oh, your tears see for me to swim, etc. Okay, so after the second chorus, we come to the bridge, or I guess more specifically what I've called in the tab as the pre-bridge, which is the instrumental part before he goes into all the anchor, up to me love, that part. So for the build, we start with our chord down here on the 2nd fret that we played during the intro. So that's the index finger on 6th string 2nd fret, middle finger on 5th string 2nd fret, and ring finger on 3rd string 2nd fret, that chord. But we're just going to pluck that chord for the first 2 repetitions of the pre-bridge. Now, you can either pluck the 6th, 5th, and 3rd strings, so like this, or you can also add in the 2nd string up here with your ring finger, so for something like this. And I think that 2nd version actually sounds a bit better, so that's how I play it. But if you want to simplify it, you can just do on 6, 5, and 3 like that. And then you are going to go up to the 4th fret chord that we played during the chorus and do the same, pick with the same fingers. And then up to the 7th fret chord from the intro, and then open. And we're going to repeat that twice, so it's going to sound like. So to finish off that pre-bridge part, we're going to just play the same chord progression again. So 2, 4, 7, 0. But instead of just plucking the chords, I'm going to use the picking pattern now. So same as the intro or the chorus, so the thumb is alternating between 6 and 5, and we have the index and middle playing the 3rd and 2nd strings up here. So that's going to sound something like. And you play that twice. One thing you'll notice about my fingering here is kind of similar to the chorus where I was playing up on the 7th fret chord, not using my index finger anymore, but instead my middle, ring, and pinky. I'm doing that with the 2nd fret chord here just so that I can more easily transition up to this 4th fret and then from there up to the 7th fret. So no longer using my index finger except for in this 4th fret chord here. So. Alright, and that brings us to the bridge, or what I like to call the Anchor Up to Me Love part of the song. And that's quite similar to the pre-bridge, but we just stay on that 4th fret chord for an extra count, instead of going up to the 7th fret chord. So what I mean by that is we have... So, 2nd fret, 4th fret, open, and repeat that twice. So we have the Anchor up to me, love. Oh, anchor up to me, love. Then for the last Anchor Up to Me part, we're going to start on the 2nd fret for 4 counts, so and then up to the 4th fret chord for 2 counts, up, then up to down, then back down to the 2nd fret chord, 2, and then up to the 7th fret, then 2nd fret again, and release. So the bridge at full speed is going to sound like Anchor up to me, love. Oh, anchor up to me, love. And now we're at the final part of the song, which is the outro and is probably the simplest part of the whole song. We're just picking our 4th fret chord the same way that we did during that pre-bridge part, so just plucking it with our 4 fingers here, so thumb on the 6th string, index on the 5th string, middle on the 3rd string, ring on the 2nd string, and then going up to the 7th fret chord and doing the same thing, and then open strings doing the same thing. So repeat that 4 times and the song is all done. Okay guys, so that's it for me. That's the whole song. I think I've covered everything. Anchor by Novo Amor. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial, and just feel free to hit me up in the comments if I missed anything or if you have any additional questions. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you in the next video.